it's time for our speaker. Our speaker today is Dick Dingus. Dick has been part of the fellowship for many years. He's served in several offices, including president of the board of directors. Currently, he continues to serve as volunteer pastor and usually as the man behind the video camera. Dick is also an ordained minister in the United Church of Christ, where he served congregations for 26 years. He resigned his last church at UCC because of differences, but says, "I found my spiritual home at FIL." Dick is parenting 3 of his grandchildren at home, which is more than a full-time job. And Dick is also a hospice chaplain with Heartland Home Healthcare and Hospice. Dick uses his discretionary time, little though that be, in working in his organic garden where he tends seasonal vegetables throughout the year. He also serves on the board of the Virginia Beach IANS, the International Association for Near-Death Studies. So please welcome Dick Dingus.
The overhead projector is a useful tool to illustrate and explain our source in God and the human experience. The bright bulb represents God, who is the love light. The energy of the love light passes through the plate, which represents the spiritual realms, and then through the lens. We could think of the lens as the condenser of energy from spirit to the space-time vibration. After being focused by the lens, the light is projected onto the screen, and the screen represents the earth plane. We are children of the light love, and we radiate from God onto the screen. And between lifetimes, we collaborate with others in our soul group to produce a play, a drama that we can act out on earth to satisfy our various needs. We do this with the help of more advanced, more mature souls, and our passage through the glass plate is modulated by the plan that we have chosen for our earthly experience. Our reasons for coming to earth are as varied as our physical appearances. We might come to satisfy the need to experience suffering, the kind of suffering we may have caused another person. We may have come to take a vacation. We may have come to help other souls find their way back to the love light. Whatever it is, the succession of many lifetimes is to help us to increase our capacity to love unconditionally as God loves. Together we decide what life will look like and what we will experience on earth. We choose our significant relationships, including our parents. We set up the challenges we will face and even the options that we will have to end this incarnation. And then when all is ready, the design is put on the plate and is projected along with our portion of the love light onto the screen, and we live it out on earth. This is something we have learned because of the work of hypnotherapists such as Dr. Michael Newton and Dr. Brian Weiss. But the idea is found in the Bible in Psalm 139, verse 16. The psalmist has written, "You saw me before I was born and scheduled each day of my life before I began to breathe. Every day was recorded in your book." The first time I encountered this concept of pre-birth planning was around the year 2002, when a woman told me her story. She said she remembered being in the spiritual realm among her soul group when a guide came and said that a volunteer was needed for a mission on earth. She said, "I will go, but I don't want to go alone." Then one of the other souls in the group said, "I'll go with you." She was born on earth some 60 years ago, and a couple of years later, her brother was born. He was that other soul. While we are on earth, the projection on the screen is our reality. We are no longer conscious of the spiritual realms, and this earthly experience seems to be all there is. You might notice that the screen is separate from our overhead projector. That's how we feel, separate. But what's on the screen is only a projection. Eben Alexander, the medical doctor, compared this realm to the spiritual realm which he visited. And he said that the realm beyond is hyper-real. He used a medical term. Dying is like waking from a dream. While you are dreaming, you think that you are living in reality, but then you wake up and you intuitively know that your mind was living an illusion. Whether people believe that or not, they planned the design for this earthly lifetime, and the course of that plan will proceed, and they will live out the details. When their physical body dies, then this drama will be added to the library of their soul, which includes all the dramas that they have ever lived, and the soul would become enhanced. You could define soul as the fashioning through experience of our God-given portion of the love light. Understanding this can help us not to sweat the small stuff. And after you hear the stories of near-death experiencers, you can conclude that it's all small stuff, even dying. Once they die, most people don't want to come back. It's too wonderful on the other side. Those who choose to come back or are told they have to come back often regret that they are here again. For example, Peter Panagore chose to come back so that his parents would not suffer the loss of another child. His sister had run away years before, and his mother was still grieving. So he asked God to come back, but says he wishes he had not, because life is too difficult to bear on earth once you've experienced the love and the peace and the joy of the other side. The most important truth I want to communicate to you today is that the circumstances of this life can be changed. This experience on earth is only a projection. It has no substance to it. It's not real. What is real is the love light, and every part of the love light, including us. What is real will endure forever, but what is temporary can be changed and will eventually pass away. The point of change is at the glass plate of the overhead projector. If we change what's on the plate, then we can change what's projected onto the screen. The story of Anita Morjani verifies that such change can take place. She had stage 4 cancer. Her condition declined at home and she became emaciated. Her family finally took her to the hospital to die. She had a blood test at the hospital. Then she died. She met her angel. The angel said, "You can choose to stay in heaven or to go back to earth. If you choose to stay, then your blood test will return positive, and your death certificate will indicate that you died of cancer. If you choose to go back to earth, your blood test will return negative, showing that you have no sign of cancer, and you will recover your health rapidly." Anita chose to return to earth. Her blood test returned negative, and she recovered rapidly. Now she travels the world telling the message that people, especially women, should be who they really are and not what others expect them to be. She wrote in her book that denying herself the right to be herself caused her cancer. Incidentally, she'll be a speaker at the ARE conference next weekend. Another verifying story comes from Rosemary Thornton, who died from blood loss after what was supposed to be minor surgery. When she was dead, her angel told her that she would be cured of cancer. She had had 2 biopsies, and they both showed cancer. Her doctor recommended that she have a hysterectomy, and Rosemary agreed to it. After the surgery, they did a biopsy on her uterus, and there was no sign that she ever had cancer. It wasn't that the cancer was healed. There was no sign that it was ever there. These stories illustrate the truth that the projection can be changed, including even the progression of time. How can we bring about such change? How can we go to the plate and replace what is written? We may feel sick and tired. How can we feel well and happy? I asked Sharon Solomon. She said, "To change your life, just do something different. Be grateful first. Be okay with what is. Accept it as is. Then alchemy can change it. Change from being a victim to becoming a master of circumstances. If you live in the past, you are dead to the present." Now, I understand, according to this model, that it's reasonable to accept life as it is. You planned it. You did so with good reason. You can accept life the way it is and open yourself to learn the lessons that are right in front of you. Sharon say the way to create change is to meditate. I asked her if that would be to the causal realm. She said yes, and affirmed that you get to the causal realm by intention. She said, and I quote, "That's what the 7 Terrace meditation is all about. We are co-creators. We go through the 7 steps to reach the causal realm in the temple. Go into the temple. Ask God to be with you in creation. Ask for change. Visualize the creation you would make. That's what Paul did when he visualized community. He meditated and visualized whatever he wanted to see happen. We can do the same and act it out in the spiritual realm. Then pray, "Thy will be done." Let it happen unless it's not within your divine plan for me and the highest good for all. Then bring your creation back to this realm. I also contacted Victor Taylor. More than anyone else I know, he has received the manifestation of his desires. I asked him how he does it. He said that he meditates, and the peacefulness he creates affects everything around him. Nature, he called it, and nature rewards him. It's simple, really, he wrote in his answer to me. Respect and love your body. Others, love nature and God, and the good things will race to you, unquote. I also asked Lloyd Kramer if he had any insights on using the mind to create change. He sent me a 4-page email. And in it he wrote that the brain operates most creatively in the lower frequencies. The normal waking state is beta, which operates at 20 beats per second. The creative brain operates at 3 to 7 beats per second. You can lower the frequency of the brain by meditating. The point is to quiet yourself and then you can create change. A couple of weeks ago, we heard from Jonelle during the candle lighting. She said that she wanted to do something to help her brother, who went to a doctor for treatment of type 2 diabetes. The doctor was recommending a long series of blood transfusions that her brother did not want to start. So Jonelle meditated according to the method she learned from Jose Silva. She went into the mental laboratory of her own creation, and she opened herself to the prompting of spirit and the files of the Akashic records. She followed her intuition. She concocted a change in her brother's medication that would be effective to bring about a cure. And when all was ready, she opened the doors of the lab and pictured herself giving her brother the medicine he needed. This was all done mentally. Since then, her brother has experienced steady improvement. The doctor is no longer recommending transfusions, and he doesn't know how to account for the improvement. Change is possible, and change is permissible. Think of all the changes Jesus made in the lives of those who came to him. Most near-death experiencers have their experience through no intention of their own. Rather, it is a spiritual awakening given to them so that they will choose to change their lives. And they do change if they choose to unpack their experience. The typical change is so much that many marriages end in divorce because their spouses can't relate to them anymore. You can change your life at the causal level. However, such change is not always a good thing. Karen Schaefer had a dream in which she was killed in an automobile accident. She believed the dream, and she drove very carefully after that. But a truck hit her anyway at a highway exit ramp, and she died at the scene. Newly dead, she met with her angel. The angel showed her that everything was all right, that everything was going according to plan. Her husband would remarry. The new wife, however, would not love Karen's son as much as Karen loved him. He would feel that lack of love, but it would benefit his soul. Karen could not accept that. She insisted that she go back to Earth so that her son would not experience the feeling of a lack of love. She was so insistent that the angel had to go to a superior angel. In the end, it was granted that she return, and she did. She told this story at Virginia Beach Friends of Lions over 10 years ago. I have no report on what happened to the son after that. Also, think about what a change in your life will do to affect everyone else involved in your drama. We collaborated to make this drama, and everyone is working to give their best performance. Your part may be to place someone in need so that others can experience generosity and compassion. What would happen if you changed your part or exited the play? You may have signed up for difficult times so that your soul would grow. But now you have grown, and you no longer need difficult times. Are you free to create an easier life? We might go into the temple of consciousness to find our answers. Generations ago, Reinhold Niebuhr wrote this line, which is often quoted: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. One thing is certain for me. Whatever we decide to do, I know that this life is only temporary, but the gains I make through my experiences will benefit me forever. The overhead projector is a useful tool to illustrate and explain our source in God and the processes that follow. But there is one significant difference. The love light we call God never goes out. Thank you.
Bye.